Hey, thanks for joining me to color. Today we're going to be working on this Magnolia image called Tilda with Cock-A-Doodle-Doo Rooster. Isn't she cute? I love her hair that's just flying around everywhere. I will put a link down in the description box of the card kit and all the supplies I used. I would love for you to come shopping with me. If you have a question, leave me a comment and I'll make sure to get back to you. Otherwise, I have already stamped my image on Neenah 80-pound solar white cardstock with Memento Tuxedo black ink. So let's color. Alright, so let's start out by outlining our image, and for that we're going to use C0. And I'm just going to start right here in the middle of her legs and go all the way around. And I'm not being very tidy, but I'm going to fill it in because there's just a little bitty patch of white left there. And then let's come over here on this side. We're going to do a quick outline all the way around. And I do this first so that it looks like she's got a little bit of a shadow, so she's kind of popping off the page. But if I get some on my girl and I want to erase it, I can quickly do that with my colorless blender. If I wait till after I've already colored the whole thing, it never fails. I end up touching some of that color and transferring it into my outline. Makes a huge mess. So I'm going to do that first, and we're just going to do all the way around to the other side. Nothing fancy. And once it dries, you will hardly see it. It's just a little bit of a shadow on the outside. If you wanted your shadow to be more pronounced, you would just, you could use C1. Or if you don't want to see it as much, you could use C00. Or you can go over it with your colorless blender a little bit after you get it all on there on the edges and soften the outside. And work my way around here to the other side of her leg. And then I also want to do my cute little chicken or my rooster. So let's go up here. And there's just a little bit of white right here, so I'm going to go ahead and fill that in so it doesn't look silly. And here's some chicken feed here, and I actually just went right over the top of it. I'm not going to be worried about that because we're going to color it with a darker orange, so it won't matter. And let's do a little bit around each one of these. Quick and easy. So next, let's work on our skin. For that, we're going to use E11, 21, 01, 00, 000. For cheeks, I'm going to use R02, 12, and 11. I'm going to start with my E11, and let's go down here and we'll do her legs first. So I'm going to go, let me see, let's go right underneath of her dress. And then she's got a little bit of her knee showing right here, so I'm going to go ahead and outline that. And then we just want to come down and then do above her toes. And then down here, I'm going to do in between her toes a little bit. And she's got a little bit of a shadow right here, so let's give that a little dab of color. And same thing for this side. Let's go ahead and just go underneath of her dress. And then we're going to come down the inside of her leg, over the top of her foot. And then again, she's also got her little knee right here, so I'm going to go ahead and bring that around over here. And come right around and do her little toes. And then above her toes on this side. And then I'm going to grab E21, and we want to soften that edge. So I'm going to touch down on top of my E11, and then brush away from that into my white space. And I'm not going too far, just a little dab. And then we'll do the same thing for this side. We just want to soften the edge of that E11 a little bit. And don't forget the top of her foot. And then we're going to add E01. I'm going to go ahead and fill in her knee there. There's not much space left. And bring a little bit of this in. Same for this side. And this E01's got a little bit of a pink to it, so that's why I was adding it in here. Give her a little bit of a pink tone on her skin. And I'm not going to make it through all of the colors. I'm going to fill in the rest with my E00. But with this one, I like to go over the entire area. So I'm just going to brush right over the top. That. The same for this side. There's toes, and then right here I got a little bit of a line, so I'm going to brush over this a second time. Just soften a little bit more, maybe a little bit on this one. Like that. Then we're going to go up here and we'll work on her arms. So again, I'm going to start with my E11. And let's go underneath of the feed bag. And then we're going to go down her arm. And I want to go back up the other side. And then we do a little bit here, a little dab on her neck. And then for this arm, let's do underneath the bottom of her hand. And then we're going to go along her wrist. And over here next to her sleeve. And then we'll add E21. So let's do a little dab right here in her neck. And then the same with her legs, we're just going to brush away from that E11 and bring it out a little bit into our white. And the same for this side. And then we'll add E01. And then E00. And I'm going to go ahead and fill the rest of her arms in with this one. And I think I'll come back over here and just give this a little bit more brushing. And same for this side. Just soften a couple of those little lines up a little bit more. And then let's hop up here and we'll do her face. So again, I'm going to grab E11 first. And I'm going to go right here on the top of her forehead. She's got some dots, so I'm going to start right there with my E11. And I'm going to come around her bangs. And I'm going to come back down and around to her neck. I'm going to go with E21. So I want to fill this the rest of the way in. So I'm going to start right here where I stopped with my E11 and come around to connect to this side. But then I want to soften this line. So we're just going to brush right along the edge. Flick out into our white just a little bit. And then we'll grab E01. Same thing. We just want to flick away from this edge. And soften that up. And then we'll add E00. And then E000. And then I'm not worried that it's blotchy because we're going to come back a second time, but let's add some cheek color. So now I've got R02. And I use the little dots that are on our cheek as my guide. And then I'm going to add R12. And then R11. And then I'm going to grab E00. We're just going to brush this right from the side over her cheeks. Same with this one. And I didn't worry about her eye, I just swooshed right over the top of that, because later I'm going to fill it in with my multi-liner. And this is E000, and now I like to go clear across. And then if you wanted your cheeks to be a little bit darker, you could go over those a second time, but I'm liking how pink they are, so I'm going to leave her like that. So next, let's work on her hair. For that, we're going to use E37, 34, 31, and 50. I'm going to start with my E37, and let's start up here at the top, and she does have a hair bow in, so you want to avoid that. So let's do our E37 right up here at the top. Bring that down a little bit, and let's do a little bit of the roots up here. And I try to keep my strokes going in the direction of the hair, like her bangs right here kind of curl around. So I'm going to curl that with that. And then right here, she's got a little section that's poking out from behind her bangs. So let's go ahead and do that little section. Let's bring this down like this. Like so. And I think I'll actually bring this color down here just a little bit. Like that. And let's do a little bit coming up from her sleeve. That. Then let's go over here and do this side. So again over here, here's a little curly Q down here. So let's add a little bit of that. And then have a little bit on this cute little curly Q. And then right here where it's coming out from behind her face, let me see here, let me turn her a little bit more. Right here it's coming out from behind her bangs. I'm going to swoosh in here. And we're going to come down here and bring it away from her face. Clear down here to where it touches her sleeve. Like that. And then she's got a little patch right up here above her hair bow. And then we want to do her bangs, or this top section. And I think I'll add a little dab right here where it kind of looks like it comes back down and folds behind. Then I'm going to grab E34, and we're going to add some more color. And we'll just work our way over to the other side. And we'll do over here on this side. And then we'll add some E31. And we'll flip over here and do this side. And then we're going to fill it in with our E50. And then after I've done my lightest color, I like to go back with my darkest color, which was E37, and just add a little bit of that color back in. And I try to keep my pen more upright, straight, so that I can get some really skinny streaks. I better do a little bit right here. Okay, and then we'll go over here and do this side. Next, let's do her hair bow and her apron. For that, we're going to use G99, 94, YG63, and 61. I'm going to start with G99 up here on her cute little hair bow. And let's do a little dab right up here at the top. And then I'm going to do a little bit going along this edge. I'm going to put a line down first so I don't color outside the lines. Get a little crazy with my coloring. And we'll do a little bit over here. Oops, let me turn my girl a little bit more here so I can stripe a little bit better, like this. Do a little bit right here, and then let's go do our hair bow. So right down here at the bottom. And then for this bow, let's go right along over here like this. And then let's add a little bit here in the middle. That. And then for this side, let's do the same thing. We're going to add a little bit here in the middle. And then bring it over here to where it's touching this side of her hairband. And I'm going to add G94. And on the inside right here. Then we'll add YG63. And then we'll go over the entire thing with our YG61. Okay, let's hop down here and next to her apron. So again, I'm going to start with G99, and let's do this bow that's sticking off of the back here first. So I'm going to take my G99 and just do a little dab, and then run kind of along her fanny. And then I'm going to go with G94. And then YG63. And then we do a little dab on this back bow. And then I want to go over the whole thing with my YG61. I kind of squish all those colors together. And for the front of the apron, again, we'll start with our G99. And I'm going to do a little dab up here where it's touching her collar. Same for this side. And her ruffle on the hair on her apron is going to be, I'm going to leave it white, so don't color that. Go across the top there. And then I want to bring this down along the edge. And we're going to bring it over here to, let's go to this this dot right here. And then for this top, let's go over this, but I also want to add a little bit of character right here. So I'm going to bring this little cute wrinkle down and come around like this. And then for this one, let's go kind of like this. And then I'm going to bring a little bit over here next to her arm. Next, I'm going to go with G94. And then we just want to add a little bit of color. And we want to come down both sides of this stripe. And then we'll add YG63. And then we want to fill in the entire thing with our YG61. I'm just going to brush clear across. I got a little bit of a line there, so I'm going to go ahead and take my YG61 again and just kind of brush right along the edge of those little lines. Same right here. Just kind of swirl my brush around in there. Smush all those colors together. So for the ruffle, I'm just going to add a little bit of E42 along the edges. So like up here, I'm going to go right along the edge of her apron, and then when there's a little circle in the middle, I'm going to pull my pin out and just give it a little bit of a dip. So go along here, dip, here, here's a little circle right there already for me. Here's a couple, so let's bring that out. Let's just give it a little bit of shadow and texture in there. And if you think it's too stark, go back with your colorless blender and kind of swirl over the edges, and that will soften that up. So for the dress, we are going to use Y26 and 21. So I'm going to start with my Y26. Let's go up here and do right along that sleeve. And then I'll grab Y21. I'll soften that edge a little bit. And then I'll go over here and do this sleeve. So again, I've grabbed Y26, and I'm going to go right next to her face and along the ruffle of her apron. And I'm going to go ahead and bring this inside where it would be darkest up, even with that little swirl I put in there. And then I'm going to go over this with Y21. And again, I'm just brushing over the edge of that Y26 to soften it. And then let's grab Y26 again. And we want our Y26 to go down next to our apron, so I'm just going to do a little line. And then for each of these little ruffles, I'm going to do a little half circle, or a C. And there's already a line there for you, so I'm just kind of using that line. And then I'm going to go with my Y21 to fill it in. So I'm going to brush right next to this ruffle and soften that Y26. And I'm going to do it a second time because it didn't really brush it all out here. And then I just want to fill in her dress. And then for these bottom ruffles, I didn't worry about softening that darkest color. I just left it as a little bit of an accent. Let's hop up here and do this bag that the chicken feeds in next. For that, we're going to use E44, 43, 42, and 41. I'm going to start with my E44, and I'm going to start right here on the inside of this bag. Flick a little bit out, and then I'm going to do the same thing for this side. And then let's do right along the edge here of my little sack. And then I'm going to bring this out and exaggerate it that it has a little wrinkle right here in the middle. And then I want to go underneath this where it's folded over. I'm just doing a tiny dab in there. Oops. And then let's do here. And we'll kind of pull some of these out so it looks like it's got a little bit of a wrinkle. And then I want to go along the bottom. And let's add a little dab over here. Then we're going to add E43. And then E42. And then we'll go over the entire thing with our E41. For the feet in the sack and for his lip, the rooster's beak, we're going to use YR24 and 21. I'm going to start with my YR24. Let's go ahead and just do it up here, and I'm going to go along the edge of my sack and the edges. And then I'm just going to fill it in with my Y21. And then I'm going to go back with my YR24, and she's got some little bit of feed that's like she's scattering on the ground. So I'm going to go ahead and color those, and there are some on the chicken that are falling, so make sure to get those. And they're so tiny I didn't bother with the second color, I just colored them with this one shade. And then for his little beak, we're going to do YR24 first. So I'm going to go right down along the edge, and up this side, and around this little, it's got a couple little lines there. I'm going to go over those, and then I'm just going to fill it in with my YR21. For the chicken's body, let's use E37, 33, and 50, and then for his leg, I'm going to use E41, and I'm going to go ahead and just color his leg right now, so I don't forget. And I didn't do anything fancy, I just took my E41 and colored it in. I'll put that away so I don't accidentally use it again. And then we're going to use E37 to start. So let's go up here, and he's got a couple little spots that look like they're behind. So I'm going to use this color right in there. It looks like it's kind of tucked over. Here's another little spot. And here's one that looks like it's kind of back behind. Like so. Then I want to use a little bit of this color right here where there's a little bit of a shadow. And maybe a little dab right here. Okay, and then I'm going to switch to E33. Now we're just going to brush up away from some of these shadows that I just laid down. And then we want to exaggerate some of these lines. Let's do this line, and I'm going to bring it down here, and let's go ahead and connect some of these. Here's some in here. And the artist has already drawn us some cute little lines on there for us, so I'm just using those as my guide. And then down here on these wings, let's add a couple little circles. And maybe in here we'll exaggerate this line. And that one. And here's a little wrinkle, so let's bring this down. That. And then I'm going to take my E50. And we're going to fill some of this in. Right over that color, and I'll probably go over it a little bit a second time, but let's go down here and do the bottom. So again, I'm going to go with my E33. Let's go right along his foot, and let's get right in here next to his wing too, and next to his little ruffle that he's got around his face. And then again, grab E50. And let's fill that in. Okay, then let's go again with E33. And on this side, let's start up here next to his head. And I'm going to bring this around like this to his beak. And then I'm going to do a little bit right here next to his comb. And then I'm going to bring this color down, whoops, around next to his face. And then grab your E50 and swirl around inside and fill that all in. And let's go ahead and fill in his cute little collar here too. Okay, now I'm going to take my E33 and my E50, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of color with my E50 off my E33. And then I'm just going to, I want to soften some of these edges. So like down here on his body, it seems like there's a huge harsh line. So we're going to soften that up. Make it a bit darker in here too. That, and then let's go up here. I still have some on my pin, so I'm going to go up here and turn it a little bit more. I got some on this side. And we're going to use that color to color in his face. Let's grab a little bit more to start this side. I think I'll darken this side up just a little bit more. And then I also want to do a little dab of this color down here on his cute little ruffle he's got there. And then we're just going to continue to the back of our little cute chicken. So let's do a little dab right in here. And we just want to use up some of this extra. I don't want it to be quite so obvious that he's this light. I want mine to be darker. So we're just going to go up here. And now my ink's running away on my pen. So now I'm just going to go down and swirl the entire chicken body here. And that way if I have a little bit of ink left on my pen, it will use that all up too. I'll grab a little bit more maybe for right here. Let's see here. I think he needs a little bit right in here. And maybe a little bit to darken up this, his ruffle thing he's got here around his neck. I think I'll leave him like that. He looks kind of cute. Next, let's do his comb. For that, we're going to use E20, or R29, 24, and 22. And for his comb, I'm just going to go down the bottom side here with my R29, like that. And then I'm going to grab R24. And then my R22. And I'm trying not to color outside the line. So that leaves us with the ground. For that, we're going to use E31 and 30. I'm going to start with my E31. Let's just go right across the bottom of her foot. I'm going to bring it up here a little bit past her foot. And the same for the chicken's foot. And then I'm going to grab my E30. And we're just going to flick some more color out here. And I wasn't too tidy, I just drew some lines. And then I'm going to grab my E31 one more time. And let's do a little bit of dark underneath of her foot. And maybe bring a couple little streaks out here. So there is our beautiful Tilda with Cock-A-Doodle-Doo Rooster all colored up. Didn't she turn out cute? Beautiful. And then again, here's my finished card. So on my finished card, I added some antique linen distress ink to this tan piece here, and then also around my girl's piece of paper, and then to the fence I added some walnut stain distress ink on there to give it some darker on there. I also did some Spica clear glitter pen in her hair, of course, to add some sparkles, and then I used my Sharpie white paint pen to add some dots to her apron, her hair bow, her eyes, and her cheeks. And everything's flat this time, so you don't have to pop anything up. So I hope you had fun coloring. Oh, and I also did some Copic multiliner to her eyes just to make them darker black. So I hope you had fun coloring with me today. If you have a question, make sure and leave me a comment and I'll get back to you. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.